Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Backpack Trader Training Room for Thursday, June 23rd. Where's the year going? It's a week from today, the year will be half over. And it seems like just yesterday it was January. Please do take a look at the risk disclosure. This room is for educational and information purposes only. It is not to be considered as financial advice. Results presented are all hypothetical and not necessarily typical. Day trading futures, forex, equities, options, and crypto of any kind can have substantial risk of loss. All right, we have a few minutes. We have about a little less than 3 minutes before market open. Soybeans has gone too far, so we'll be looking for a new trade setup there. YM is currently flat. Crude, unfortunately, we had a valid long setup, but it was just 5 seconds on the first bar and never came back to the entry. So that one to me is most likely untradeable. Then we come up with the short that just meanders around the opening, or around the entry, and then pushes down, hitting target 1, just missing target 2 by 1 or 2 ticks. It's like we got as low as 105.88, and target 2 was 105.87. That's one of those cases where I probably would just mark it out of that second position. I'm not going to argue over 1 tick when I don't have especially when I don't have if I'm not going to be trailing it. So that would be a one and done session on crude. That's the micro crude, actually. Full crude, similar setup. 5 seconds on the first bar, and looks like maybe it comes down to just touch possible. Well, that's only okay. Yeah, that's if it did actually touch the entry, that's a good 78, and the low of that bar was 78. So that's a possible get in sync. If you were able to get in sync with that, that is a 2 target win for 66 ticks. So if with that spike back down right there, just touch the entry. If you're in it, or if you had left your order there, then you possibly would be filled. You could have gotten filled and be in that trade, which would be a one and done. If not, you probably pick up this long that goes to essentially a full stop out at 82. So you probably get stopped out, and you're very likely not able to get the short trade in, which would I'm sure have been, the entry was at 83. The low of the bar was 82, and that was also the stop. So yeah, that would have been your stop and reverse, but that was just a 4-second bar, so the short would be untradeable. So your next trade would be this long. It gets just barely break even. And finally, pick up the short. First trade was 25 ticks. That's 50. And you would have lost another couple of ticks on this. So another 4, down 54, 2 positions. And it looks like we pick up 2 targets there, which are 42. So we're down 12 on the morning. If you didn't catch this first long, if it was too fast, if you didn't get filled on the pullback to the entry, it just depends on how fast that came through. But so marginally negative session on crude, not significant there. And markets are open, I believe. Yes. Did that? Yeah, unfortunately, we're in that short trade, and that's a full loss. New short here. That's just 5 seconds, so that trade is likely not tradable unless you anticipated it. Given that you already had your exhaustion dots up here, your first bar that closed below the balance line, if you were watching this bar, you had 7 seconds in that bar, so good opportunity to get the order in ahead of the entry. And that anticipating that one would have gotten you a solid target one at 33 ticks, and is now trailing. Soybeans. Six seconds to the entry. Actually, not even that. 5 seconds. You probably caught it coming back up because then you had 10 seconds to get your order in, and that's a full loss. The only way to have avoided that was make it test the 20 SMA coming down before you commit to going short. Although it looks like it came back and touched the entry again here, so that's just a losing trade. And the YM, what did we lose on the first one? 84. Picked up 33, so we're down 51. Less this trailer on this from 604 to 591, so we picked up 13. So we're down 38 and in the long. And we have hit money management, but not target on that. And stopping out for, looks like 2 ticks. So down 34 and then short. Blow that up so we can see it a little bit easier. Full loss on the long. Now that's a get in sync. So that's whether or not you get in sync. I usually do on the YM, so I would take that as a full loss. $46 of our 84 ticks we get back. So as I say, down 38. Pick up another 4, so we're down 34 and in the short. Probably adjust that below the, oops, sorry, I got to get my data box on top here. So EMA is at 588. The entry was at 589. I would have adjusted that down to 587. And we stop and reverse. Entry at 586. Push it to 588. Actually, yeah, 588. So you have a 1 tick loss on the adjusted entry, down 36. And there is money management and target 1, 25 ticks on target. So we're down 11. Need a little bit on the trailer here. So 89 would be the stop with the adjusted entry. And we need 12 ticks on the trailer to get us positive. That would be POQ and basically a break-even session. So we'll pop that back down. Looks like the stop is now plotting at 89. So that's still where I would have started off our stop. So full crude, possibly one and done if you caught this first trade. Otherwise, a small loss on 3 trades. And we'll come back and look at that on the 10 a.m. session. We can do the 10 a.m. session this morning because the crude inventory report is not until 11 today. And I will break somewhere between 10:30 and 11, 10:30 and to 10:45 to get ready for that. Assuming we haven't exhausted all of our charts and are looking back at we're good morning there, Miles. Looks like my chat wasn't working. Pop it back out again here. Please do say hello. That way I know who's in the room. All right, unleaded. And go back here. We have a 200 EMA trade at 22 seconds after. There again, that's a 4-second bar and doesn't come back to the entry. So that is untradeable. It's a diamond level trade off the 200 EMA. So our second trade is this long off the 20 SMA. If you're not using those diamond level trades, then your first trade is the short, which would be a stop and reverse if you were in the SMA long. Small loss, solid win to 56 ticks at target 2. That's going to get you positive over the initial stop and reverse loss. And that's POQ on 2 trades. All right, let's see what the Russell's done this morning. Tied up, and the YM now is well past 11 ticks on the trailer, so this will be a POQ trade. Stop now at 622. And looking like it's going off to the races. Stop now at 644. It looks, 644. Pound Aussie gave us a long trade. Quickly go show this one. Gives us a long trade there at 77.34 at 4 minutes after 9. Our start time on that is 8:30. So that's right in there. No trades. The short filtered out by the crossover filter. Now you could have done a get in sync on that. Well, yeah, actually it came back up almost. Did it make the 37.9? And our entry on that was 38. So missed the entry by one tick. Just depends on how you're. Actually, would have been a short, so no adjustment for spread, because spread adjustment would have been on the exits. So most likely not in that, even on a get in sync. So the trade would have been the long. That did go just barely to target 1. I got filled on it. So that is a one and done session, coming back off at 30 with the trailing stop at 34 for exactly break even. So just a 15 pip target 1 is all we get on that, but that's enough for a POQ session this morning. Go back and look at the Russell Catapult. 9:30 start. There's a quick trade. I would say very likely that spiked up and came back down, and that wasn't tradable. And we short at 31.55, and you have a nice long wick here. And 25 seconds on that bar roughly. So in that trade, it does hit target 3 and a very small trailer. 32.51 is a long. 8 seconds. Maybe you've had a pullback in there. Another 15 seconds. Maybe you've had a pullback to the entry in there. Then it goes ahead and pushes through target and begins trailing. Another target trailer on this one, getting up just above target 1. If tradable, that's a second win. And a 9:34.31. We have a short. 13 seconds on that bar. Very likely it moved back and forth a bit, and you would have given you time to get into that trade. Another target 3, and this time almost target 2 on the trailer. 3 wins. Ooh, that one was 11 seconds. This one's going to be a loss. Probably not any way to get away from that one. No trigger on the 9:39 long. Short at 9:40.05. 4 seconds back up to here. That's not tradable, although it might have gotten niggled in on that wick down on that next bar. Hey, 4 seconds to there. Probably not tradable, but let's say that's probably your third. Assuming the first trade and that trade were tradable, that's your third loss. So you got 3 wins, three losses. The wins definitely should put you positive, but that is going to end the session. And let's look at the micro NQ. Yeah, we got POQ back 658 for the stop on the long trade on the YM, and that got us to POQ. 15 minutes to the, let's see, didn't trigger the long, triggered that long, and stop and reverses here on the short at 16.18. That means 1650 is money management, and we're looking for target 2 at 1575. And there's money management on the short. Bring your stop to 1775 on soybeans. Let's go back to 9:30. 8:34 Central is our start time. 4 minutes after open. My charts are, of course, in Eastern time, so 9:34. There is a get in sync. You got to pull back to the entry roughly 17 seconds in. So you end up in that trade. Targets 2, 3, and 4, and a nice trail down below, slightly below target 2 to get the morning off to the running start. Six seconds to full stop out. That one's definitely untradeable. That one's likely untradeable. Not likely to have stayed around the entry very long. And so the short at 35.17. 2 seconds to the third bar. Still 2 seconds. 3 seconds beyond target 1. Never comes back. That one that's an untradeable. Unfortunately, that's a nice winner, but not tradable. No entry on the long. New long touches the entry and then pulls back. That one likely avoidable. And the short, 10 seconds. Plenty of time to get in that. You got another pullback here. Almost a third chance to get in. Gets to break even. Now trailing. Picks up target 2. Almost target 3. If I were using target 3, I would, well, that's 3 ticks. So I probably would have held out for it. But stopping out on the trailer just below target 1. So that's a winner. Entry and stop touched on the same bar. Again, that's very likely spike to the entry and then go back the other way. Although you had but it went back to the stop immediately. So yeah, you wouldn't try to get back in with that one. Should be likely avoided. 7 minutes into the session with the short. And 20 seconds on that bar with the big pullback. Definitely gets you in there. There's break even. Stop and reverse would be at 86. Even looks like that's where we got to. The question is, oh yeah, you'd have had a resting order at 586, and it touched that exactly. Now let's see where it goes. And it's going to go on, gets to target 1. And there's break even and trail, target 2, target 3, trailing midway between target 1 and 2. So you took a small loss, but it did a nice winner. Third winner with 1 loss, I believe. Or was it 2? Yeah, I think it was just 1. Or was that? Yeah, that was a no. So 3 winners, 1 loss, another long. That one looks like it went away too fast. Looks like hit target 2 on the nut, 1 tick beyond target 2, and a break even stop. So that is a non-tradable. Plenty of time on this short. 6, 13, 14 seconds before it came through. Target 2 and trail, partial trail. That's a 4th winner. And I believe that it should end the session. But if not, looks like we definitely get into this long, and that's going to go for a full stop. So that definitely ends the session. 6 trades in. 4 winners, 2 losses. Solid session. And the soybeans trade, 2 positions coming off at target 2. 18 to, so we pick up 2 9-tick targets and a 14-tick. So 23 ticks on targets, and oh, I'm sorry, that didn't oops. That was a stop and reverse. It didn't become valid until it had already spiked through. So we just have a full stop out on our short trade, and nothing new yet. And not getting anything on that short because that was already below the entry when it became valid. And never came back. So, all right, just over 5 minutes from crude inventory, or I'm sorry, the crude 10 a.m. session. And we will take a look at that one. Let's go back and take a look at heating oil, see how that did, since we've got plenty of time this morning. All right, there is our 9:30 start. Plenty of time on that one. That's just a break even, only getting to target 2. The long trade, target 3, and trailing up to target 4. Short trade, let's see, do we have time to get into the long trade? 33. Oh yeah, 12 second bar. Should definitely have been in that one. 39 to 4. Yeah, plenty of time on, most likely plenty of time on the short. So break even, solid win. Nice big trail here. So that's the kind of trade you make that a POQ trade. That trade went from an entry at 29.79 to a stop out at 28.23. It's 150 pips, around $600 per contract. That's the kind of trade, even if it's not necessarily your POQ rules, I would step aside and put the profits in the bank. Yeah, and it gets noisy after that move. Looks like there would have been some successful trades, and then another nice short trade. So a successful session on heating oil. Wow, this one's even bigger than the last one. So a couple of real nice trades on heating oil this morning. Crude pushing down in the $105 range now. 105.50. All right. 2:20 to our 10 a.m. session. Let's get these down here where we're at. And I'm going to do the same on my trading chart here. And that long goes to stop, so it's off the table. Looking for new setups. "45 seconds." Five seconds. All right. Long trade in. We're in on crude. Micro crude just hit money management and target one. Full crude still working. So we'll see where it goes. Full crude still working to get to money management. That is 21 and 34 ticks. Still right back around the, dropping below the entry, at, which was at 56. Micro crude got in sync with the long, with a long. I'll take a look at it. And we have a stop and reverse short at 47, which has not triggered. And that just triggered short. Yeah, just touched the short. And that's unfortunate, but we are short on that. Money management at 36. And a full stop out. So that is a second loss. That would end the session if you're using that. If you're going ahead and taking the third, I'll go ahead and look at it. We've got another hour. We're 3 minutes into the 10 a.m. session, so we've got another hour before the crude inventory report. So I will be certainly willing to take questions. I may go ahead and shut it down a little bit early. Here is another short. This would be our third trade if it triggers in. And there it triggers in. So we lost $48 on the second trade. First trade was 56 to 47. So just 18 on that one. So down 66. Certainly, Dale. We've got plenty of time now while we're watching that trade. Now the chart that Troy has been showing, and I don't know what the other settings are. He's been last few days. He's been showing the catapult on. Oh, I'm sorry. I think he's been showing. I'm not sure if it's catapult or counterpunch, but on the 1.4 or 14 tick bar with a 7 tick offset, so a 50% offset. Most of what what I've been showing in the room and what he had been showing for these custom Renko charts have been 1/3 offset. So what I'm showing here on the M2K, which is the Russell, that's the micro Russell, and still just meandering, stuck right around the 50 EMA on crude right now. But for this catapult chart, oh, excuse me, that's not what I want. I need to show you what the Renko setup looks like. So I need to go into the data series. I'm showing and doing a tick trend of 5, open offset of 10. That's your 15 tick bar size. And money management and target 1 on crude. Well, that's a good start toward definitely making him the third trade profitable, getting us back closer to break even. Not going to get back positive just on the 2 fixed positions on this one, but that is what it is. Looks like we missed target by 1 tick. And there's full target 2. Anyway, tick trend of 5, open offset of 10, and a tick reversal of 25 gives you the equivalent of that 1.5 point custom Renko brick size with a 5 tick offset or 1/3 offset for the custom Renko that Troy's been showing. And that bar can be used with either catapult or with counterpunch. I think I might actually experiment a little bit with a little bit smaller bar for counterpunch, since counterpunch is a 3-bar setup. Something like a 1-point bar, maybe 9 or 12, not either 9 or 12 ticks, maybe with a 3 tick or 4 tick offset. But do your fast test and what have you on those, and see what's working best for you. All right, we've got 2 solid targets. We picked up 45 ticks. So we got back 45 of our 66, down 21 on the day on the full crude on the 10 a.m. session. Micro crude, on the other hand, I'll show you what I was looking at. Now that's interesting. Oh, that's good. That's 9 o'clock. 10 o'clock. Yeah, we had this trade a minute early. I was able to get in sync on this bar, hit target 1 and small trailer for the second position. About 1 and done. So just different charts on different days work a little bit differently. All right, and now soybeans with a solid short trade, getting again targets 2 and 3, because you notice the little gold dot, orange dot right there is money management. That's below target 1, so your actionable target is target 2. 2 positions coming off there. 16 ticks on those 2, 12 on, so 28 on targets, and you pick up, looks like 1604.50. Yeah, so we pick up another 10, so 38 ticks on that trade. I'm afraid that's not going to get us positive yet. Well, a 21 tick risk on 4 positions. Yeah, we were down 84. So we're still down 46. And in a long trade, actually. Yeah, there's where our money management was, with target 1 above it. So that's why our actionable target was target 2. This time, target 1 is actionable. And that's where we're waiting for what we're waiting for now. Questions, comment, or other comments? You're quite welcome, Dale. Basically, what you're wanting to try to do when you're building those Renko bars on Unirenko is your brick size is the trend ticks plus the open offset. And then your reversal, you can basically set your reversal wherever you want it. But matching, I've got it set to match up with the custom Renko on TradeStation, so that Troy and I are basically showing the same charts. But that would be your brick size plus your open offset. Would be how I size it in Unirenko. So that kind of gives you an idea of how to set it for any particular bar size that you want. Other questions or comments? I'll stick around till about 10:30. If nothing going on by 10:30, I'll go ahead and shut it down and get ready for the crude oil inventory session, and I'll try to come back about 5 minutes before the inventory session. But I'm certainly here for questions in the meantime. And if we've got questions, things we're discussing, we'll stick around here till probably quarter of 11. But I will need to shut down around 10:45 to go ahead and get ready for the inventory report. Soybeans still in the long. Uh, I'm assuming you're talking about for catapult, Dale. The Russell chart that I have up is catapult. If you're using counterpunch, it's going to be something different. And I don't think Troy has a counterpunch trade plan up using the Renko bars. Okay, yeah, I'm using one of the, and I'm not sure if I can get onto the. Let me see if I can get onto that or not. I've been having some problem with my login. Okay. That's going to be on the cut. Yeah, I can get into the E-minis, I think. Nope, that's not the right one. All right. Look, yeah, I can't get to the RTY right now. I would put go into that and we can take a look. But that's the one that I'm showing is one of the trade plans on the website. I think maybe it's the evening plan. Yeah, there are. I know that there's some Renko plans for for the micro, and I think for the full RTY. But those are definitely on the website. Crude's been moving around quite a bit this morning. High, session high up at 107.05. And we're almost down to the session open at 104.33 for the session open yesterday evening. 102.32. So about a $5 range on today's session. And we actually did set a new session high right around 9:30. That's definitely in a different, not huge, but fairly significant difference from where we saw crude a few days ago up in the 120s. I think last week, I believe it was. Okay, the hybrid mode trend filter is keeping us out of from reversing to short on soybeans at the moment, still in the long trade. All right. Nothing particularly strange going on. Look how much unleaded is off from where we traded it early this morning. Down 4 cents, which is 400 ticks. Got down as low as $3.69, it looks like, or they're really close to that on the chart where I can see it right now. That's 7 cents. So 700 ticks of movement in just under an hour and a half. Okay, it looks like Dale's going to be the only one that's asking me questions. We got another 5 minutes or so. I'll go ahead and make a little longer transition. Crude keeps testing the 200 EMA and seems to be getting rejected each time since it's come down through around 9:45 this morning. So it was rejected, definitely rejected there, and we'll see if it's rejected here, if it processes through and heads back upward. About a half hour before the inventory report. Of course, being on a Thursday, we're probably not going to have all the usual players in place. So we'll see what happens. I wouldn't expect too much of a sustained move at this point, this right in front of the inventory report. And then it may make a liar out of me. So Yeah, 75.93 was our winning trade entry this morning. As our POQ trade entry. So going through it, roughly 600 ticks. Of range since the 9 a.m. session. And breaking through the 200, and the 50 is just about to cross over, so we may get a good upward move here. This much movement ahead of the inventory report doesn't bode well for the inventory report itself. Often when you have good movement right before the report's not going to produce a whole lot. But we'll have to wait and see. All right, I don't see any new comments. So I am going to go. I'll just go off mic for about 15 minutes, and then before I shut it down. So if you see anything, I'll leave the charts running. If you see anything you want to ask questions about, put it in the chat. I'll keep monitoring the chat. But I'm going to go off mic here for the next 15 minutes or so before we get into the morning session. All right. Now crude has settled into a pattern. Notice that the moving averages are all bunched together. And if it stays in this kind of a pattern for the next 20 minutes before the inventory report, then I think we have a better chance of good trading after the inventory report. If we've got strong movement coming into the inventory report, there's just no room for it. It's not, or it is not, I won't say no room, but there's not nearly as much room for reaction to the report, which is what we would like to see. Soybeans is in a back and forth. There's a new stop and reverse setup, 1602 even. Still long, although it's going to be tracking the short now because it's hit the unadjusted, and it just touched the stop and reverse adjusted entry. Looking to try to set new session lows. But with that, folks, I'm going to go ahead and close it down for the moment, and we will come back around 4 or 5 minutes before the hour for the crude inventory report. So we'll see everybody in about 15, 18 minutes.